And welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Elkmont Station. Crafty food and drink right off Campbell Station Road in West Knoxville, folks. From the same folks behind Scrambled Jake's Breakfast Company, this is another unique venture, completely unique. It's what I like about their places. Features an ever-evolving menu of handcrafted food and drinks. You'll love the warm, rustic atmosphere. Visit ElkmontStationKnox.com to learn more, to see photos, check out their menu. And again, the menu evolves over time. It's a fun place to go. Elkmont Station out in West Knoxville. All right, back with Mike Strange, longtime writer for the Knoxville News-Sentinel, longtime member of this show too, which I appreciate. Mike, I just wanted to get your take. You covered you wrote a lot of game day stories between '83 and you left before the 2017 season.
Yeah, don't blame that on me.
Yeah.
I retired right before the 17 season.
So 83 to 2016. That's still a lot of football games. A lot of coaches, a lot of teams. Give me your quick take on what you thought of Josh Heupel and what you think of Josh Heupel and what he's accomplished in 2 short years.
Well, I thought he was a good hire to start with, and I really, really enjoy watching Josh Heupel football. Now, I'm sitting on the couch. I enjoy it a lot more when I'm sitting on the couch in South Knoxville. If I were in the press box and I used to have to do that, how they scored of every boy, I'd be, my fingers would be nubs.
Right.
So it's from a professional standpoint, it would be a lot more going on to account for. But for me sitting at home, I think it's a great system. I love what they do. I feel like I kind of get what they do, and I love the fact that they mix in running. That's important. I love that they put the receivers way out at the boundary and make you play the whole field. Yeah. It's and my goodness, 11-2 last year.
That's you got a lot of people now who are feeling like, well, Tennessee's back. We're back. And you're getting talked about top 10. You're in a preseason top 10 poll. You're number 12 in the other one, I believe. You see them mentioned as a playoff contender, sleeper in the SEC East. You were there for the 90s. You were there for the 80s, the late 80s, which was that great run where you won 3 SEC titles, about 5 years there. And then the mid-90s, mid to late 90s, where they go on the 45-5 stretch. Does it feel to you now like that? We got people saying, well, we're back, it's top 10. Does it feel that way yet, or is it cautious? Are you still being cautious? I'm not there yet.
John, you're understating how old I am. The 1931 team, when Gene McEver was a senior and Beatty Feathers was a sophomore.
McEver was great.
Now, there was an offense. But, I saw a lot of...
Your game story on Johnny Butler's run. Best I've ever read.
But the 90s were the end of the 80s from 89 on. That stretch was so good. That team had great athletes, and they scored a lot of points. But this team I think scores more as a system than necessarily the
just
Jimmys.
Pure talent.
It's X's and O's more than Jimmys and Joe's. So I don't think this team throughout the roster, especially on defense. And maybe not on the offensive line yet either. I don't think they have these studs that some of those teams had up and down the roster yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. I agree. I think talent-wise, those other teams were probably better than this one. But in terms of having that system, there were times in the 90s where I thought Tennessee had the better talent, or at least equal talent with Florida, but it was Spurrier's system that seemed to always get you. So it would be interesting to see if you could do the time machine thing and see a system from today's team go against one of those talented Philip Fulmer or late Johnny Majors teams. Yeah. Just very quickly, you look at UT now, the fireworks, the light show, the music being pumped in, NIL, transfer portal. The conference is going to be 16 teams, and that's only for a while. We know it's not stopping there.
I hate it.
I was going to say, do you even recognize college football anymore?
Well, I still do barely, but I feel like in 5 years I might not. And I can handle the NIL more than I can handle the transfer portal more than these super leagues. I just think it's crazy.
People talk about the athletes. What about the beat writers? Because you guys would have to be going to. Well, imagine if you're the Rutgers beat guy, and now you're going to have to be going to Eugene, Oregon, and and Southern Cal
Well,
on a regular basis.
This isn't a novel idea, but what I think they ought to do is just take football away and then let basketball, baseball, volleyball play their regional rivalries, and just take football and make it a separate thing.
It's a good idea. I don't know how they could do it and unspool all those television
I know.
contracts, but yes, I think you're onto something. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
When we come back, Danny White this week had something to say to Virginia's coach. It was interesting. Was it just spin, or do we buy it? Come on back on the Sports Source. We'll tell you what he said.